init. I don't need any of this crap right now. What I need is raw objects. Alright, so we're going to go over variations, creature variations. There's so much to cover here, and I have absolutely no motivation to go through all of it, but I do want to start playing. I know I've been saying that for a while, and if that's going to happen, I want to make one more creature. I mean, I only have 3 that use my new tags, so I figured, okay, let's make one more and do that for you guys, and then have it in the game. Now, variations, creature variations, are things that can be run. They're sort of like scripts. And as you can see here, I created this one here, Beak Peck attack, because I noticed birds were not pecking at each other, and that, or other things, and that seemed somewhat natural, so I put it in. And actually, I got to tell you, I had some trouble figuring out how to get the creatures to describe the color of their beak, because I had to guess what the material of the beak was. It turned out to be bone, which makes sense in retrospect. That's a whole other thing, but in these, and granted, I know almost nothing about this, so this is more or less trial and error. But what I did was I wanted to pull that up. I wanted to be able to build almost like an object-oriented or hierarchy, just a hierarchy of some sort, where you could define a basic creature. And granted, in this case, I might have preferred to go down to the level of just bird, period, but there is some variation among birds, and I think actually something like that already exists. So let's take a quick look through here. Apply creatures variation, standard flying gaits, walking. This is it's sort of adding stuff about being a bird, but here is where it's largely defined. Armless humanoid with a neck, 2 wings, 2 eyes, 2 lungs, heart, guts, organs, gizzard, humanoid joints. Not exactly sure what that does, but you know, they're not that far off. Throat, neck, spine, brain, skull, 4 toes, beak. I had to add, I think. No, I didn't. Yeah, rib cage. And then their basic body materials, and this is stuff that is still relatively I'm not sure about. I trust that it works. I poke at it occasionally with things that seem to make sense in context, and it works. However, in any case, here we have just defined what a generic thrush is like, and it's a certain kind of songbird. It's a little on the large side for songbirds, unlike sparrows, which are smaller, kind of long, sometimes tubby, like the big chest sticking out. That's a thrush thing sometimes. And, you know, they're... So this largely describes them in the generic, and not all, but most of the things here are going to be common to all thrushes forever. So just in case, now where is it? Creature. There's a thing I did here. Not butcherable. That's true. I also think not butcherable is making them not show up in the creature test list, I have to say. Crimer. There's something I'm looking for. Sorry. Max age, it's not. Where is it? Benign, flyer, small remains. This actually concerns me. There's supposed to be a tag here that says essentially that this creature cannot actually spawn in the world. Creature class, general poison. That's that they can be poisoned, not that they poison things. Come on, there's supposed to be a tag for this. Well, let's skip that for the moment. Trust at the moment that there is a tag for that. So anyways, we have a description, and this would describe just about any thrush. And this is in the off chance that some character may end up liking thrushes as a generality, or there may be inscriptions or artworks done about thrush. This supposedly should make all that possible. So we have a generic name, and it's singular, plural, and I forget what the third one is. Cast name. Again, I'm not sure what the difference is between that and name, so feel free to correct me on that. Child name, pretty easy. singular, plural. Creature tile 249. I should check that. Make sure that's not stupid. Color, kind of a yellowish, dark. Well, kind of a dark brown. Well, because it would have been yellow, it's more or less brown, which is a pretty common color for thrushes. Pet value low. It's natural as opposed to not mythical. Oh, here we go. Does not exist, so it will not actually spawn in the game. Now, it can be a pet. It will be in any forest or forest taiga. Vermin grounder. I think maybe that is why the creature is not showing up in the list. When I go to the arena and put it in, it's not an option. The generic versions are not. Frequency, pretty common. Population number. I'm not entirely sure what the number in what why to scope these, if it's whole world or what. Small remains means that cannot be butchered. Benign, it's not evil, and will probably just run if you try to do anything. Flies, child 1. I think that is the age or year after which it is no longer a child. Diurnal, that's the times when it is active and when it is asleep. Here's general blood temperature. I'm not sure that a thrush should be able to swim, but that was part of the bird definition that I pulled this from. Mundane, not butcherable. Wasn't that what small remains means? Various, trying to describe here the, essentially it's movement. So here we're saying it can fly quite fast, but on the ground it's just hopping along. It's not doing so hot. So apparently larger numbers means slower. Probably ticks or some, milliseconds or something for it to move. Climber, natural skill, climbing 15. Intelligence. This is if a main character or a dwarf primarily says, well, they like robins because of, and then it would pick one of these words. And in this case, there's only one common one to them all. However, there are others added for each one. Here's again the description of the body. Here's the description of what the body is made from. More of the same, like standard tissues. Remove the hair and put feathers in their place, so you don't have a feathery bird. I'm sorry, you don't have a hairy bird. Let's see. It has the typical plan of, and if I'm not mistaken, this is from the outside in. So basically, skin, fat, muscle, bone, and cartilage. And then, okay, so you want feathers again. Talon is made from nails. Talon is made from talon. I'm not sure about that. Oh, that's probably just set this up right here. I'm not sure. Tissue layer, toe, talon front. Egg materials, heart, throat. Use major arteries. So a lot of these are pretty common. In a better designed thing, some of this would have been defined in an even more generic, like bird or animal. Some of these things would be very common to all of them. And so each description could then be less verbose to read. Yes, it has nerves, it has blood, it has blood again. I'm still not sure about this, but I think it generally means that it can receive poison. It is not immune to it. Can be infected from wounds and from rot. Puss. See, its body size at birth, I think its full body size, about 3 ounces. See, and then height, length. Basically, this just offers some variation in their size, so they can be anywhere from 0.9 to 1.1 times their average size. So they don't vary very widely. Max age 6 to 8 years, as I understand it. And then here we set up some attacks. So with their beak, they can peck, and basically this is where my first creature variation came in. Where's it said? Beak, stance, peck, percentage, penetration percentage. So, because it's a direct, almost like a stabbing motion, I increased its opportunity to penetrate. Stance, strike, pecks. Kind of curious that this doesn't mention pecking. Attack flag with, can latch. When it bites, again, it's slightly more. And in this case, it can hold on after it bites. And then it can also scratch with its talons. So that's a basic general description of a thrush, as terrible as it was described. Now, what we do is we say, okay, now I want your basic robin. So the everyday robin that you see when you're walking outside, whatever. First thing you do is you say, get all tags from the generic thrush, then apply the variation from the one called prepare for speciation, which means I'm taking generic thrush and I'm creating a species out of it. And then this says, make all that happen. And then it goes to the end and begins, it applies all these tags. It copies all these tags, applies all these, and then goes to the end to start adding all of these. So in the end, it's actually a full description per creature. But when you read it, it's all here. So let's go back to the variation. Again, I'm not sure why that was missing, but it does work. So I know it's not actually missing. It's been quite a while since I worked with this. Prepare for speciation. So what we do is remove certain things, like the name. We don't want to call it generic thrush. We don't want to have the generic child and baby names, the cast name, child, baby name. Population number, again, that will vary from species to species. So we remove that. We remove cluster number, which I forget what that means. The color should not stick around. Its sound will be unique to each species, so we remove that from the generic. The description has to be unique to each. The creature tile has to be unique to each. Whether or not it can be a pet, pet value, exotic, pref string. The tag does not exist has to be removed so that it can actually spawn in the game. And then, just in case, we remove glow tile and glow color. We are going to add these two on to something else. And that's actually a very recent development that I haven't even pushed up into Git yet. Anyways, that is, we remove all these tags to begin. And then we create a robin. So we've done all that. Then we say, okay, robin is slightly larger than average for a thrush. So we add that. And then I don't know why we do that at the end. But then we go back to the beginning, which is where you typically see these words. I'm not sure if it actually matters if they're at the beginning or not. However, that's how it's typically done. So we say, okay, it's a robin. It is also a robin. It has robin chicks. It is a chattersome thrush with a yellow beak, red breast, and charcoal head and wings, prone to seasonal migrations. Migrations, indeed. So it's, I never see them. I see them all the time, but I never see them in large groups. So I say, maximum number you'll find at any point in time is 5 to 10. They probably only clustering for safety, not because they're actual flock. They tend to be paired up, but not much more than that. Cluster number, I assume, has to deal with how many you can find together, but why that's different from population number, I don't know. I should probably research that before I start making weird mistakes like, oh my god, there's only 10 robins in the entire planet. Without graphics, it will use R and a small r, because it's not Titanic or anything, for it. With graphics, obviously it looks like that. We're going red because of its signature chest color. And then we go to the end and we start putting extra pref strings. Now these, again, are the things that dwarves can randomly use in describing why they like robins. So they really like robins for their cup-shaped nests. So it's as good a reason as any. Then we go into some things. So we start saying, okay, well, we're going to go into and modify females, make them female. They can lay eggs, unlike the males. And these are some descriptors of the egg. How big it is. That number doesn't mean a whole lot to me right now. Sorry. But how many they can lay. Then we say, okay, well, let's pick feathers on the head and say they should be charcoal color. And they are, when described, it says the head feathers. The grammar around it needs to react to the fact that it's plural. And then it will say in the description, her head feathers are charcoal. That's the only option. The females and the males of robins are actually similar, but males tend to have a little bit more variation, and you'll see that in a moment. On the lower body, or the chest basically, they have an option between cinnamon, auburn, and burnt umber in color. So they're all sort of descriptions of this ruddy red color. Let's see. So more of the same. On their back, it's beige Is that right? On their upper legs, it's beige. Their leg feathers are plural. Their wings are charcoal, and their tail feathers are charcoal. However, in the description I just said, okay, the tail is charcoal rather than the tail feathers. For males, it's basically the same thing except minus eggs. And their head can either be black or charcoal. The chest is mahogany, burnt umber, or rust, so it's a little bit more vibrant to color. The upper body, does it just say? The back. Okay, the back is white. Should probably mean back. His back is white. That's probably what it says. Upper leg feathers are white. So, again, the colors are slightly different. And for all, their skin, which is basically all you see on their lower legs, is sort of either gray, pearl, beige, or ivory. So, some variation on gray. Their eyes are always black, but there's some descriptor like black, charcoal, taupe, dark. And their beak is sort of this yellowish orange. So, you got amber, golden, yellow. And so all of these tags were effectively added on after we tore out generic parts from the generic thrush. The same happens for the dusky thrush, except its descriptors are different. You can see it's a whole different selection of colors. Size does not change, so it's slightly smaller than robin, and so forth. Now, excuse me, let's see. After that, we'll say... Now, I took over... There was already a creature variation giant, but I sort of took it over for myself, and it's mostly the same, but it's now sort of in line with... And I think this is like a percentage right here. I could be wrong. Gravitate body size is a little more complicated than percent body size, because not only does it make them bigger, but it sort of... Hello, phone. It makes them sort of more massive, and from the description, it even sounded like it changed their lifespan slightly to go along with it. But it appears to work, but it's very, very imprecise, so I have a very poor understanding of what these numbers mean as yet. However, the smallest one, the holy one, is about 10 times the mass, which is not the same thing as size. 10 times the mass of... So at that point, they're light creatures anyways. That might mean 3 or 4 times the visual size of a standard robin, but it's also glowy, and you can see... where did I do it here? It has new pref strings that go with all things that are holy. These are added to them no matter what others they have. It does generate light and glow tiles. I added these, and it's sort of this dark cyan color so that you can see them coming in the dark. They're the only ones that glow. I might maybe add glowing eyes to the dread ones. Similar, I think, to what you see with goblins when you're like in adventure mode. But we'll see. But they have their own pref strings. But anyways, let's just go straight to holy and ignore the rest, because the rest work the same. So I remove a bunch of things, again, names and stuff like that. So I've gone through the trouble of creating a robin out of a thrush. And here I'm going to eradicate some of those changes again by yanking out the names and the population numbers. Just in case we don't want them to be considered mounts, that these are tags that are removed from all creatures, just in case there's some more specific variation within a species that has like these mutations. But mostly, a lot of these are removed so that we can put them back in again and make sure there's no collision. Now we also want to make sure they're not a vermin. They're not fishable. We want to be careful about that. Like I said, all of these things, they do so many things, I don't want to describe them all, but what we're removing these so that we can't have collisions with trying to put them back in again. And then we start adding things that we want to be common to all holy things. The glowing, the large roaming, large predator, they're holy, they're good. That doesn't mean they don't eat, They're good, at peace with wildlife, they're benign, no smell out, like if you kill them, they just twinkle away. I don't know what happens. But they cannot be undead, which is kind of a nice thing. Difficulty 2, I'm not really clear on this, but I think it has to do with the experience you gain from fighting them, not actually making them more difficult. So that the goal was to try to make them more difficult, but I don't think that actually happened in tests. They generate light. They have these, and they're about 10 times the mass. The Dread version is about 100 times the mass. You notice this is just going on up. Giant is about 100,000 times, and then 10,000 times the mass, because you have to yank off a couple of zeros when you're talking about percentages. And Titanic is, that was Titanic, so like 10,000 times the mass. So a Titanic robin may actually only be about the weight of a dog or a large dog. So it's not that huge. But, you take some other creatures, and all of a sudden you're talking about things that are the size of mountains, potentially. And that's largely how it works. So let's go back and take a look at the Titanic. In these cases, we're leaving a lot of stuff intact. So we take the robin and all the work that had been done to Thrush via robin, apply the holy stuff, so it yanks out a bunch of things and puts in a few new ones, applies them and goes to the start. Then we put in our names for this specific version: the holy robin chick, holy robin chicks, unusually large robin-like creature that quite literally glows with a barely tangible and calming aura, if such a thing were possible. Population number quite small, cluster number quite small. Creature, because it's still on the small side, it's still got a small R. Yes, it's an exotic pet, highly valuable, and has a few other pref strings that are unique just to it. In addition to all those ones that are about being holy. And similar things happen to Dread and Giant and Titanic. Okay, I found one. I want creatures. Or I want, of course I want creatures. Frogs. True frogs, to be exact. I was looking on Wikipedia just now, there's so many frogs. Including a frog called the Goliath frog from this tiny, tiny part of Africa. It's like up to 7 pounds in size. Which is really friggin' big. Anyway, I thought I'd start with something common and easy, and what I decided was I'm going to go with true frogs, and what that actually means is, where is it? Ranidae is the name. I'm copying and pasting now. Bloop. Ranidae is the family name of this kind of thing. It's a frog. So what I will say is, first let's refresh. Bird generic. Bird thrush generic. So let's say amphibian. Come on. AMPHIB. Friggin' A. True frog generic. Okay, so we got it. Oof. Now I'm basing this on the body style of the toad, which is perfectly reasonable thing to try to do. So let's see. Thoroughly abundant amphibious creature with waxy skin. Breathes through its waxy skin. So pretty generic. Thoroughly an amphibious creature with long legs and webbed toes. It breathes through its waxy skin. So we got some pretty good here. So I don't know if I want to say true frog. I think I will though. So it's a true frog. True frogs. And true frog. Boink. And you know, I'm just going to say the same thing all over again. Alright, creature tile 163. Probably will fit because it was based on a toad. 2, is that green? I'll leave that alone for now too. Pet value 10, yes, very low. Vermin grounder, frequency 100. Vermin hateable. I don't know, can you really hate frogs? I suppose somebody can. Amphibious, small remains, no winter. Yeah, under swim, can swim underwater. Natural, pet exotic. I don't know about pet exotic. Let's take that off. Not butcherable. Very good. Any pool. And that's... Yeah, that works in this case. Population number high. Very good. Pref string beauty. Really? For toads? Oh... Long legs. Pref string. Excuse me. Webbed toes. Pref string. Loud. Loud. Load? Loud calls. Pref string. Quick reflexes. They are in fact hard to catch. Not impossible, but certainly hard. So okay, this is all pretty much taken care of. That's all taken care of. We don't want any hair. That's all taken care of. Heart, throat, that's all taken care of because this again was based on the toad. Crawl, quite slow. Swim. It should be able to swim faster than that. Unfortunately, I don't know how to retranslate the number, so I'm going to leave that. Toads don't generally swim, do they? Oh well. It's not that they can't, it's just they generally don't. Innate swimmer, blood, could be poisoned, can get infections and rot, pus, body size 0 to 200. I forgot what that means. Is it the maximum size? Now, it should not be as big as a thrush. This is more weight than anything, and it is bigger than a thrush. Let's see. I'm looking over here at the other screen, taking a look at the wood frog, which is the one I actually want to do. Hello, where'd you go, wood frog? Wood frog, wood frog. There you is. Okay, sorry, another screen. So you can get how big? Up to 2.8 inches long. Yes, but how heavy? They don't say how heavy it can get. I guess I'll leave it alone for now until I know better. So let's say 3 ounces. Oh, that's the bird. I'll leave that alone for now. This is all fine. Max age 2 to 3 is probably fine. It can bite. It's nocturnal. Toads maybe. I'm not sure if that counts for frogs. No mention of eggs. Interesting. And no mention of descriptions. Oh, well, it says modifier green stuff. Was any of that in here? Bites. No, I left all that out. So let's get rid of that. Well, let's move it down anyways. So now we need to speciate. So let's grab a speciation for robins here really quick. Go to end. Go to start. Wood frog's a little on the smaller side. Actually, let me just grab the whole thing. Now, frog eggs are not likely to be a food item or collectible, so I think it would be fine to leave those off. But let's go down here. I'm not sure about nocturnal, though. Are they nocturnal? The wood frog has a broad distribution over North America, blah, blah, blah. Garnered attention by biologists of the last century because of its freeze tolerance. It's very interesting, and why I was a little unsure about the no winter thing. Similar to other northern frogs that hibernate, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I mean, I do, but not in this context. Small brown frog. Feeding, geographic range. They eat mostly small bugs. And, well, they eat algae when... Yeah. Let's see. Geographic range, habitat, reproduction, conservation status. Diurnal? No. Night? Rarely seen at night. So I'm going to call these diurnal instead. I think that's the right one. Diurnal. Mundane. That's all fine. Okay. So, generic. So what we need is true frog. No. Amphibian, sorry. What was that about? Bird? Yeah. Amphibian. I know this is very overly descriptive, but I kind of want to do this for categorization's sake. So, true frog wood. So let's see. We copy from amphibian true frog generic. Prepare for speciation. Blah blah blah. That's all very good. I think it's a little on the smaller side of these. So I'm going to say 90, and we'll say wood frog. Wood frogs. Woof. And wood frog. And because I don't want to copy all that again, do that. Ooh. Child name. Wood frog. Pollywog. I don't know that you'll ever see children wandering around. But we'll put it in anyways. Oh. Small frog. Very good. Great description. The wood frog has garnered attention. Blah blah blah. Sorry, I'm reading again. Similar to other northern frogs. Feeding. Well, small angular frog. Yeah, because there's some sharp angles on it. Found. Nothing found further from water than is typical. With rich brown tones. Oh. From a dark brown streak of a mask just behind its large dark eyes. So, you know, something of a description. Population number. I wish I knew what that meant right now. I'm going to go look that up. Population number. Sorry, this is off screen. Population. Next. Population number. The maximum number of how many of these creatures are present in each world map tile of the appropriate region. So that's fine. I usually never see them in groups. So I'm just going to say cluster number 1. There can be many, but they tend to be somewhat independent. I think I'll call it W for wood frog. Color 4, no, it should be 6, I think, for sort of brown. I think that's right. I'll come back and fix it later if that's not. Now, pref string. It's a distinct face mask colors. I don't know that there's anything else worth saying, so we'll just yank that off. Female lays eggs. Oof, no, I don't know about this. This is a complication because it has the eggs are not solid. Their eggs are so different. I think I'm going to yank this off for now. Now let's see. Skin. Head skin, let's see. Is. I don't know if I want to deal with these on camera. And the male and female are not distinct. So we will just say female. I'll yank this whole thing out. Cast male, male. Get rid of this. And with all, I'll put these back in, but I'm sure they're going to be slightly wrong. Oh, you know what? No. That's part of the bird. What am I talking about? So let's take this and put it down here just for comparisons. So here we go. Category all skin. The eye is black. That is definitely true. Modifier green. Let me look up colors here real quick. Creature token. Creature color. Bear with me. Come on, dwarffortresswiki.org. You can be faster than this. Alright, so we got a bunch. This beast is, say, a variety of tan. How are these working? Yeah. Okay, so tan. I don't want to say orange. Ochre. One. They have to be sort of on the lighter side. Golden rod. Amber. Ecru. Gold. Buff. Well, buff's a bit on the yellow side. They're not quite yellow. Pale brown one. Taupe pale one. Copper. I don't know about copper. Light brown. I mean, these are all just descriptive, so to an extent, the person reading will have their own idea of what these mean. But we'll leave it at that. And this is definitely black. Well, actually, black or taupe. Dark. The one increases, basically describes the weighting. So we'll say, actually, these two are more likely to happen. Ecru is more likely to happen. And black is more likely to happen. But dark taupe is possible, as is, not dark tan. Say just dark brown. Be easy about it. So the odds are that they'll be black, but they're not necessarily so. Now let me get a closer look at this creature. Here, for your amusement, this is the one I'm looking at right here. There is some variation, but for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. They do get a little darker at times. Anyways, stop doing that. Thank you. I want to get in the mask, but I'm not sure how to describe that. Maybe we'll just say set TL group. Hello group. By category head skin. Upper body. I'm not sure. Can I do multiple? Can I just say body? Head. That way it's... because the colors have to be all the same. I think I'm going to stick... no, let's just say body for now. Head skin. TL. Assuming I can type correctly. Color. Modifier. And then, let's say... no. Let's just use the same. Actually, not black. Let's just use taupe and dark brown. That doesn't really look black. And TLCM, which I don't know what it means. Noun. Face mask. Singular. Skin. Face mask. So that's pretty good. I think that's probably sufficient for this particular species. Others will require more effort. But we'll do that. And get rid of that. And I think now we have a fairly generic wood frog. From here, we then do the same kind of creature variations, except with Dread, Holy, Giant, and Titanic. And this will take some amount of changing stuff. So let's see. Can I... throughout here, let's see. Find and replace. Bird. Thrush. With amphibian. True. Frog, right? Is that what I'm doing? True frog indeed. But only in selection. Replace all. Okay. Hello, phone. Tree frog robin. This is a robin frog. Okay. That's something anyways. Actually, any reference to robin should be wood frog. Replace all. I think from here on I'll have to just do it by hand. So I'm trying to figure out how to just draw this thing. I've done this much, I think, and it's not terrible. I don't believe it's too terrible. There's not a whole lot I can do with its halo, except maybe wrap it around those legs. Oh, hello, phone. Why do you feel so determined to interrupt? It's a little difficult to see. I think largely that's supposed to be a leg, too. And then here's some leg right here. So that sort of gives you a halo. And I'm going to do this again, except I'm going to drop that down to about 30%. Do a little bit more around the edges. Like so. Like that, yeah. There's a bit of a glowy, holy tree frog, you know, because that makes sense, right? And then, oh, I forgot, this guy on the end, he needs to be turned bright red, colorize, saturation, all the way red. And then he needs to be, and that needs to be faded, 50%, I think. 25, 40, 35. Yeah, let's go with 35. He's pretty bright in this case. And then his eyes need to be, of course, blazing evil red, because red is naturally the color of evil, is it not? Why didn't that work? Oh, because it's 30%. Derp. Here we go. Bright red, evil wood frog. Now, the problem is, I don't know about the polywog. Let's zoom out for a minute here. See how that looks. Yeah, that's not so bad. He looks like he's in fluff. But that's okay. The thing is, I don't know that the polywog will ever be displayed, so I think for now I think I should want it to be displayed. So let's grapple with this right here. I don't know what they look like exactly. I mean, I have a general idea. So let's just go bloop. Get a nice kind of ovoid shaped thing, and then give him a tail. That was horrible. Oh my gosh. Oof, I'm not good at this. Yeah, so here's a body shape. Maybe he'll have a couple of legs. I don't know what those look like. Oof. Let's just give him some variations here. I'll bring that down to about 33%. Sorry you can't see what I'm doing. Wow, this is turning into a long episode, isn't it? But let's just assume for the moment that it is similar. It is similar that they have a light-colored underside. So we'll just do this a little bit. Sort of face. Like so. And then a dark patch around the eyes. It's pretty friggin' not dark, though, at the moment. I'll give him some more around this edge. Also, just a general defining texture. And then we'll give him a couple of big old black eyes. Whoops. There. So it doesn't look like much, but hey, it's something. So we'll save this out, and After that, let's see, here we go. Yes, I have tons and tons of space for things I may never get around to making. Sorry about that. I think I want the tint, but not the grid. So let's try that again. And where did I put all that junk? Actually, for this case, let's go to desktop, Dwarf, new game. What was it? Raw graphics. That was a. Did you hear that? That was a woodpecker outside. J turret, and we'll go with birds. Okay, we'll just go amphibians. Right. So here we have the new thing. Though I have to fix this. Amphibians. This should be good enough. The graphics are in, the description are in, the creatures are present. As far as I know, this will work. Doesn't mean it will, but as far as I know, it will. So let's see. Let's go for the new game, which is up to 0.13 now, actually, which I figured, okay, lucky number, might as well start playing with this one. So let's do a little bit of experimentation. Bring that down into our screen. As close as we're going to get. And let's see here. Create. Actually, it doesn't matter. We're going to the object testing arena. Folder raw. It did not die, as far as I can tell. Doesn't mean it worked, but okay. Create creature. Filter name wood. Now see, look, this is good stuff. Except I don't see the generic frog again. There's no just old wood frog. Let's put down a holy wood frog. Oh my gosh, look at that. It looks furry, like a little bear. Let's put down a Titanic wood frog and a dread wood frog. They look fine to me. Watch them. Are they going to tear each other apart? Yes, they are. Wood frog went down pretty freaking quick. The Titanic one, of course, because it is absolutely huge. Let's take a look at its description. Let's see. Absolutely massive beast of an amphibian in the form of a wood frog, prone to defending its territory. She has gigantic. Her face mask is dark taupe. Her eyes are black. No mention of skin, though. Alright, well, that's probably just a small thing I can figure out. Probably the inclusion of the face mask part, the head, undid the part about the skin being, everywhere being all. So I'll have to figure out maybe just body. Actually, I can call it anything I want. Even if it's upper body, I can just say body, and that will work. There is some variation, though. Let's bring this wood frog back up here. Let's bring up a different image of the wood frog. Or let's just go to Google Images. Bear with me a second. Wood frog. Wood frog, wood frog. So let's see. Bloop. Fit her in the screen. So you can see there's a lot of variation, but as often the back is a little bit darker, the sides and the underside are lighter, legs are a little bit darker, face mask definitely very dark with black eyes, and actually there's like this thin line that goes seemingly through their eye. This one here is more typical of the ones I've seen in the wild, right here, with very sort of creamy color. So there is actually room to give descriptors to all the different body parts, similar to the bird. So I think I might do that. But in the meantime, that was the process. It's not as well described as it should have been, because there were some parts I didn't know about. But be that as it may, I think maybe will help you get towards making some of your own creatures. Maybe in the future I can do super short tutorials about individual tags or group of tags so we can get a better understanding of those. But in the meantime, have a good one, and thanks for watching.